Hey y'all, happy Wednesday. It is July 1st. If it's not the most ridiculous story, and Vicky's scratching my head, thank you. I might fall asleep. Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools has announced that you can't take no more metal water bottles into the school. Now, I'm glad to know, I am glad to know that we have our priorities in order, and we got to get rid of these metal water bottles, these Ayalos, and the Titans, and whatever, all those things. Can't be having it. And some people are going to say, well, metal bottles were used in fights last year. Okay. Then how about you suspend those kids? Some people are going to say they're bringing in vapes. They're hiding them in those metal water jugs, and they're bringing in knives. Okay, you're going to make a decision that impacts thousands of students and their families over the actions of a handful. I do not believe that knives are rampant in high schools. Did it happen? Probably so. I'll give you that. But really, it seems to me to be a knee-jerk reaction. And then the excuse they give is metal can be used as a weapon. So does that mean, do I need to even pose the question? Are we getting rid of lunchboxes? Somebody said, Jeffrey, they don't even have metal lunchboxes anymore. Okay, but suppose you got one on eBay or something. What about metal rulers? What about scissors? What about metal pencil boxes, things? What about 3-ring binders that have metal in them? If you ever get your finger pinched in one of those, I mean, that could be a weapon. That's really painful. What about all of the student athletes? What about lacrosse stick? You mind? Somebody with a water bottle at the front door. Anyway, lacrosse sticks are made out of metal. Baseball players and softball players have bats.
Tennis.
Made out of metal. Tennis players have rackets made out of metal. And some people going to say, but Jeffrey, they can put that stuff in the locker room. I got to tell you, until you have an athlete, you don't know what a chore that can be in early morning. Particularly if you have a overly zealous school official who doesn't want to let kids get into the locker room. What about kids with cleats? Do they even have cleats with metal in them? I don't know. But, it is such a... Really? How about the Winston-Salem County Schools take on this? How about you have an explanation of how you got $46 million in debt? How about you pay attention to the students and the families and the supporters of the schools that were put in place for special needs students? How about you get enough bus drivers and recruit and train and retain enough of those bus drivers where you don't have to send out a text message notice 90 minutes before the end of school that says, you know what? Bus 722 is not running today. How about that? How about that? How about instead of removing people from the substitute teacher list because they could only work 15 days rather than how many ever, whatever arbitrary minimum you've put on it, and you don't have enough substitutes to cover classes? How about you try to lighten the load on your teachers and your counselors and your administrators and all of those people? Huh? Now you've given them another task because they don't have enough to do during the day. Now they have to play water bottle police. Really? Really? Of all the things, how about you reinstate some of the local course offerings at Career Center that a misguided administrator did away with because they were too lazy to turn in the documentation and the paperwork? Woo! How about that?
Hint, hint.
Things like, I don't know, say broadcasting and photography and digital art and things like that. How about you implement a program where kids learn some of those fundamental basic life skills like how to open a checking account and how to go to a grocery store and how to change a tire and
White
how to make a
torso.
reservation and how to write in cursive. How about you worry about some of those things? I know you got a lot on your plate, but really, in the summer of 2026, the big thing that you could come up with was water bottle policy. And it's not just that. Now it has to be a clear, no color, must be transparent, clear plastic water bottles. And I'm gonna put an end to this. Clearly, I love public education. I believe in it. I've lived it all my life. Nobody loves school more than the people that dwell in this home. But when you get it wrong, I will continue to call you out. When you get it right, I will love on you and hug you and praise you louder and more consistently than anybody else I know. But you missed on this one. You just missed. Keep the kids safe, absolutely a priority, positively. But why don't you discipline, and if need be, remove those that need to be removed that cannot abide by society's expectations on basic human decency and conduct. How about that? Something to think about. You gonna keep rubbing my hair or you quit?
I wasn't sure if you really wanted that in your video.
I think that it feels good. I don't care what it looks like. You are loved. See y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow. I look like the mayor in one of those early versions of the Grinch. It's just terrible. All right, we got to go watch this. Stop that. We got to go. When the roll is caught up yonder, go! Team USA, we scored. Goal. All right, I got to go. You're loved. Bye.